Is it just me? But I never understood why Santa stopped at just conquering the Martian. He could have easily have kicked the ass of the terror in Tiny Town, Zontoa, and maybe he could have went down to Mexico and had a 2 out of 3 pinfalls hair versus hair match with the Mexican Santa. Sadly, he didn't. But thankfully, we have Santa Conquers the Martians to enjoy. The film takes us to Mars, where some Martian children are watching Earth TV. They're watching a live interview with Santa Claus himself. What I really like about this film is that it has a central idea which it keeps building on. Santa reveals it in this interview.
Tell me, is it true that this year there's a rumor that you're going to use a rocket sled?
No, sirree. We're going out the good old-fashioned way with my reindeer.
That's right. Technology is bad. Well, not really. More so that humans have integrity where machines don't. Mrs. Claus turns up and provides this unforgettable moment. Back on Mars, Kima, leader of the Martians, is looking for Droppo, aka the unfunny comic relief character. He's annoyed that his children are spending all their time watching Earth TV. How about this, Kima? Stop paying for Earth cable TV and sign your kids up to the Martian cadets. That will solve your problem. Anyway, after that, he chit-chats to Lady Momar, who's just returned home from the food pill store. He tells her that this Earth TV is rotting their children's minds, and he had to use the sleep spray on them to get them to sleep. Who is this family? Food pills? Sleep spray? I think TV is the least of their worries. Anyway, Kima gets the leaders of Mars together, and they go get some advice from Chochim, who's an old wise man. Chochim tells them,
"We have no children on Mars. They have children's bodies, but with adult minds. They are born. Our electronic teaching machines are attached to their brains while they are in their cradles. Information is fed into their minds in a constant stream. The children must be allowed to be children again. We need a Santa Claus on Mars."
That's right, computers are evil. And then he disappears in a puff of smoke. The leaders decide to capture Santa Claus and bring him back to Mars. They travel to Earth in their rocket ship, and they manage to find the Fat Man right away. They also find unwanted attention from the US Air Force. The Martians land their ship, and I guess the Air Force can't find them as they're never actually bothered by them. Kima decides to do some detective work and asks Billy and Betty about Santa Claus. They inform him that the real Santa lives in the North Pole. They take the kids with them so they won't go blabbing to the cops. Billy and Betty are immediately befriended by the wacky Droppo, who sneaks them onto the bridge of the ship. From there, he explains to them how the spaceship works. As the Martian leaders are coming in, he decides to hide them in the radar box. What's a radar box? Why is it empty? Anyway, they have visual confirmation on Santa's workshop. They don't want to take any chances. They need something to ensure the capture of the roly-poly man. They need a weapon of mass destruction. They need a Torg. The kids escape in order to warn Santa, but they walk right into the killing zone of a ferocious polar bear. The bear chases them into a cave, and then he leaves for no reason. What, is this bear working for the US Air Force? Anyway, the children escape and walk right into the cold metal hands of Torg. Torg then leads the assault on Santa's workshop, but Santa couldn't care less, and he treats Torg as a toy. Needing backup, the Martians run in, and they show him who's boss by freezing his elves. Well, kinda, sort of. Then they kinda, sort of freeze Mrs. Claus as well, and then they take Santa. The world is outraged that Santa is missing. They're gonna do anything to get him back, except for the fact they don't actually do anything to get him back. Despite being captive, Santa isn't short on cheer. He uses his old world charms to win over his captors.
He's having the time of his life. He's such a funny little man. Why, I've only been with him for 5 minutes, and he has me laughing just like an earthling.
Let me tell you something, Santa. You're never going to win over the cold heart of Voldar. He's by far the evilest of all the Martians. He believes that the Martians are becoming
marshmallows. Soft. Weak. That old man is a menace.
Unfortunately for Santa, he's as good as coming up with plans to kill Santa as he is at puns. He comes up with a plan to kill Santa. As it's got to be a long trip back to Mars, Voldar decides to give them a tour of the spaceship. The tour ends in front of the airlock. Voldar sneaks into the next room in order to open it.
That clock stopped. 60 seconds. That must be the door timer. Santa, he locked us in.
Oh, I don't think so. He probably just stepped out for a moment.
You're a fool, Santa! He's gonna kill you all! Voldar brags to Kima about killing Santa without double-checking he was actually dead. They fight, but it's okay as Santa and the kids are fine. Santa comes in and plays down the whole thing.
Santa Claus, you're all right. I thought you would... Well, when Voldar accidentally left us in the airlock and then came up here and accidentally threw the door switch, we knew we had to get out of there in a hurry, or that would be the end of us. Accidentally, of course.
So he crawled out through the air duct.
The air duct? But the air duct is just a little... And you're so big.
He's so upbeat he can even see the lighter side of attempted child murder. Kima throws Voldar into the frackin' brig. They return to Mars, but Voldar has escaped. Anyway, Billy, Betty, and Santa meets Lady Momar, Bomar, and Grimar, and everyone has a jolly old time. Kima is pleased as little Bomar and Grimar are managing to get to sleep without the sleep spray. He also wants Santa to set up his workshop immediately. Santa asks him about when he can leave, and it's revealed...
But Santa Claus, you will never return to Earth. Now you belong to Mars. Ho, ho, ho.
Santa sets up his workshop while the evil Martians are planning their attack. And it looks like they're hanging out on leftover sets from the Cho-Cham scene. Say that 10 times. Cho-Cham scene. Cho-Cham scene. Anyway, Santa is unhappy with his new mechanized workshop. I guess he'd rather the sweatshop conditions of the North Pole. The children aren't happy either. They're homesick. Anyway, all this gritty realism is too much to handle, and we need a comic relief scene involving Droppo dressing up as Santa and making toys. Oh, hilarious. Ugh. Anyway, Voldar comes in and sabotages Santa's toy-making machine, and he thinks, yeah, you guessed it, he thinks that Droppo is Santa. Kima realizes that Droppo is missing, so Santa and the kids go look for him. Well, they do it for about half a second before they go back to work. Santa's toy-making machine isn't working correctly, and the toys are coming out all nutty-looking. Santa and Kima talk, and together they manage to work out the paper-thin plot of this film.
He was here, and he thought Droppo was me.
He's got Droppo, and I'm going to find him.
He doesn't have to go very far, as Voldar is in the next room. Voldar gives Kima his demands. As he doesn't actually have the real Santa, he's easily captured for about 2 minutes. Then he overpowers Kima and escapes. Meanwhile, Droppo Claus manages to escape, and Santa fixes his toy machine. Billy overhears that Voldar's planning to capture Santa. Well, that's what you get when you say everything you think out loud. Just like Chuck Norris, Santa is ready for his attackers. The children use their own toys to overcome their oppressor. How poetic. No one dies, Voldar gets arrested, and they decide Droppo will become the Martian Santa Claus. The Earthlings go home, Merry Christmas, the end. Santa conquers the Martians, is pretty darn fun. The movie is effective as it takes a simple idea and builds on it. The theme song is catchy, the Martians are campy, and it has Santa, robots, and aliens. What else do you need? Santa kicks some intergalactic ass in this one, and it's well worth checking out. So the Martian madness doesn't end there. To coincide with the film's release, Dell Publishing released a companion comic book and record. I've got a copy of the comic book and I found the record online, but it's way too expensive considering it's just probably audio taken directly from the movie. Not surprisingly, the comic book is just a streamlined version of the movie. A lot of dialogue has been cut down and a few scenes have been dropped altogether. The changes are very minor, but you guessed it, we're going to be looking at them anyway. So here's a list of all the minor changes. The Martians don't seem to be green. Lady Momar is dressed differently. Some of the backgrounds are different, and some of the scenes aren't staged the same way. It's as if the people who made the comic didn't have a DVD of it to reference. The Martian spaceship looks like a disc rather than a rocket. When the Martians find Dropper, we see that his ropes are already cut. Why didn't he just leave? Who knows? Who cares? In the movie, the order of Santa's toy machine goes ball, bat, doll, car, but in the comic, it's ball, bat, doll, train. The movie ends with Kima and his family sending off the Earthlings at a spaceport rather than their house. Bored? Good. Let's move on to the cutscenes. We don't see the following. The Air Force doesn't pursue the Martians. We don't have the second news report. The kids don't hide in the radar box or from the polar bear. The Martians don't freeze Mrs. Claus. In fact, she's been dropped altogether.
What's soft and round, and you put it on a stick, and you toast it in a fire, and it's green?
I don't know what.
A marshmallow!
Santa tells the marshmallow joke to the kids and changes the punchline to Martian marshmallow. All the scenes involving Voltar's cave have been cut. And lastly, the scene which we find out that Billy and Betty are homesick. Strangely enough, the comic book has a few new scenes. They could have been cut from the original film. Dropper wants to go with Kima to see Chochim. Right before Voltar tries to suck Santa and the children into outer space, there has been an extra joke added. Did we need to know any of this? Of course not. Are you glad you do? Don't be silly. Merry Christmas, the end.